Hey everyone, I welcome you all to my channel. An adventurous story awaits us, so grab some snacks, get comfy, and let your imagination take flight. Story number 1, A Mother's Vigilance, the Walmart Encounter. A young, 24-year-old mother working in the medical field, spending her day off with her two adorable sons, one 2 years old and the other just 10 months old. It's a typical Tuesday morning, and they need to make a trip to their local Walmart for groceries. Usually, these trips are uneventful, but being a cautious mom, she's always on high alert. As they enter Walmart, pushing the cart with her boys, she notices a man who looks like he might be homeless. His clothes are dirty and torn, and he's aimlessly wandering near the entrance. As she's getting her boys settled in the cart, she watches him ram a shopping cart into a fridge near the checkout area. The loud noise startles her, but she keeps her cool, lowers her gaze, and continues on her way. As she navigates through the store, ticking items off her list, she starts to notice the man more and more. He's just wandering around, not carrying anything. She decides to keep her distance. Once she's gathered everything she needs, she heads to the self-checkout area. As she's scanning her items, she notices the man approaching the checkout area. He stops a few feet away from her cart and just stands there, staring at her and her kids. She doesn't know what he's up to, but she immediately feels a sense of dread. She makes eye contact with him a few times, hoping he'll move along, but he just continues to stare. Her anxiety levels rise, and her boys start to get restless. The man's face is expressionless, almost sinister. She wants to alert a store worker, but doesn't want to tip off the man. If she were alone, she might have confronted him, but with her two young boys, she's more cautious. She finishes checking out and then realizes she left her wallet in the car. Perfect timing, right? She loads her bags into the cart and approaches the nearest worker. She explains that she left her wallet in the car and needs to retrieve it, but she's uncomfortable because of the man. Luckily, the worker had noticed the man's odd behavior and calls over a male colleague to accompany her to her car. They walk out and discuss the man's strange behavior. The worker mentions that he'd been in the store all morning acting weird, but they couldn't kick him out because he wasn't doing anything illegal. They return to the store, she pays for her items, and the man is back at the entrance, still staring at them. The Walmart worker escorts her to her car, helps her load her groceries, and ensures they're safe, which makes her feel much more comfortable. Nothing else happens with the strange man, but the experience leaves her shaken. She doesn't know what the man's intentions were. Was he planning to steal her groceries? Or worse, was he planning something with her and her kids? She doesn't know, but she's sure he was up to something. One thing's for sure, she won't be going back to that Walmart alone anymore. Remember, folks, this might not be the scariest story out there, but it's a stark reminder that we should always be aware of our surroundings, especially when we're with our loved ones. Stay safe out there. Okay, now towards next story. Story number 2, The Uninvited, a Tale of Mystery and Courage. I'm a college graduate, living alone in a cozy apartment while working at a clothing store. This incident happened a few months ago. Picture this. I was home alone one night, engrossed in my studies, when suddenly a knock on my front door jolted me. Glancing at my phone, I realized it was almost 11 p.m. Who could it be at this hour? Peering out of my kitchen window, I spotted a man standing outside. However, I couldn't see his face clearly. I decided to take a closer look through the peephole. To my surprise, I didn't recognize the man at all. He knocked again, but I chose to ignore it. After what felt like an eternity, he finally left. Fast forward to the next day. I was at work, busy organizing different sections of the store. Suddenly, I noticed a familiar face. It was the same man who had knocked on my door the previous night. My heart pounded in my chest. Was this just a coincidence? As I continued working, I kept an eye on him. He seemed to be pretending to look at a jacket, but quickly looked away when he noticed me watching him. It was suspicious, to say the least. Later that evening, after finishing my shift, I drove back home. As I was about to get out of my car, I noticed the same man sitting in his car in the parking lot. This was too suspicious. I decided to wait and watch his actions. After about 10 minutes, I texted a friend and asked if I could come over. As I drove away, I noticed the man starting to follow me. Luckily, I managed to lose him in the traffic. A few days passed without any incidents until one night at work. The man walked into the store again, pretending to look at some products. This time, I decided to confront him. I walked up to him and said, "You need to leave me alone. If I see you one more time, I will call the police." He acted clueless, but I didn't bother to explain. I just walked away and went back to work. After that night, I never saw him again. I'm not sure if my warning scared him off, or if he realized that I was aware of his stalking. Either way, I'm glad he stopped, and I hope to never see him again. Remember to stay safe and always be aware of your surroundings. Story number 3, Night Shift Encounters, a tale of unsettling strangers. A young college student working her way through her final semester at a Shaw's grocery store in Boston, Massachusetts. She's a petite, 5'7" girl, always cautious, especially when it comes to working the dreaded night shift. One Thursday night, after a long day of stocking chips and serving the occasional customer, she's ready to clock out. But first, her manager asks her to bring in the shopping carts left scattered in the parking lot. As she's doing this, a car pulls up beside her. A woman rolls down her window and greets her with a friendly smile. In the car with her is a teenage girl, presumably her daughter. The woman seems anxious, glancing back and forth before revealing that they're out of gas. Our protagonist, despite being a cash-strapped college student, doesn't hesitate to help. She hands the woman a $5 bill from her wallet, but the woman looks at the money, then back at her, clearly expecting more. When our protagonist apologizes, saying that's all she has, the woman makes a startling request. She asks her to get in the car and accompany her to the gas station. Just as she's about to respond, she notices the teenage girl in the car. The girl is giving her a dead stare, licking her lips in a way that sends chills down her spine. Sensing danger, she decides to get out of there. Just then, her manager comes out, and the car quickly pulls away. Relieved, she thanks her manager for his timely intervention. He had noticed the fear and panic on her face and had come to check on her. He even manages to snap a picture of the car, capturing its make and model. From that day forward, she never saw that car again, but the memory of that chilling encounter stayed with her. So folks, this tale serves as a reminder to always trust your instincts and stay safe. Even the most ordinary situations can take a sinister turn. Tune in next time for more spine-chilling tales from the night shift.